Happy holidays from the Siegel Center. College basketball is on the air here on Masson and ESPN Plus as the VCU Rams look to extend their winning streak to 3 as they face the Hawks of Maryland Eastern Shore. Glad you could join us. Thank you for letting us be a part of your holiday season. I'm Sean Robertson. Great to be back with Ed Nixon. VCU has gotten 2 early Christmas gifts in the last 2 games. Last week it was Joe Baumgartl seeing his first action against Temple, and tonight Sean Bairstow, first A-10 second team selection this offseason. He will see his first action this season for VCU.
And this is something that Coach Odom has been praying for, right? So he finally gets Sean Bairstow back, who is a versatile forward who can score on many levels, from the three-point line to the mid-range game to scoring at the basket. And be careful, he's sneaky athletic. He might dunk on you.
And seeing him earlier today, the smile on his face, it was like you could not take it off. Finally getting an opportunity to be with the guys, just like Joe did against Temple last Saturday, maybe bringing some more energy to a VCU offense.
Well, absolutely. He's been waiting for this. He did all the rehab to get ready. Here he is tonight.
And our player to watch from VCU was the guy who saw his first action last week, Joe Baumgartl.
Absolutely. Joe Baumgartl, just like we said, Sean is a 3-level scorer. That's the same thing with Joe Baumgartl. He can shoot the 3. He has the good mid-range game, and he can get to the cup as well. And he's just overall a super athletic veteran guy who's played in the A-10 before. He's ready to go tonight.
For our keys to the game, we're going to start with Maryland Eastern Shore. This is their 6th straight road game, looking for their first road win.
Well, Maryland Eastern Shore, what they really need to do is gain rebound. VCU has these athletic forwards who love to crash the glass. So whether it's a long miss or a short miss, everybody has to crash so they can get out in transition. Shrink the floor as well. You want to eliminate the gaps so VCU doesn't have the opportunity to get into the paint. For VCU, you want to limit Middle Eastern Shore's transition opportunities. They can't really score in a half court, so force them to do something they don't like, and also limit the turnovers. Don't give them any opportunity to get any easy points. Make everything hard for them tonight. Last
game before Christmas. Does VCU be nice or are they naughty? We'll find out with the starting lineups and the opening tip. VCU, Maryland Eastern Shore next on Masson and on ESPN Plus. Happy holidays from the Siegel Center. Here's the starting lineup for Maryland Eastern Shore. Toby Nazoe, Chase Davis, Deontay Johnson, Devon Ellis, and Troy Hupstead, the team's leading scorer. And for VCU, a change in the starting lineup. You see it in the middle. Sean Bairstow making his first appearance of the season. He will start along with Max Shulga, Zeb Jackson, Michael Bell, and Christian Furman. The officials, we got a good crew. Roger Ayers, Bill Covington, and Les Jones. Let's have some fun at the Siegel Center as VCU controls the opening tap.
And you said you'll be surprised if the first play isn't drawn up for Sean. Let's see what we have.
Shulga goes right down to the lane, finds Furman for the finish.
Smooth, great ball movement and great spacing.
Furman averaging just over 5 points a game this season. Gives the Rams their first 2. Ellis fades away and hits for Maryland Eastern Shore.
And that was silky right there. Good job staying on 2 feet, using the pivot. Fadeaway was butter.
He's the Hawks' 3rd leading scorer this season at just over 10 a night. Here's Furman with the mismatch over Ellis, and that's 4 in a row scored by Furman.
And that's a good sign for VCU.
They found the mismatch on the offensive end, and VCU leading by 2. Hupstead, the team's leading scorer, at just under 12 points a game this year. Here's Ellis. Give and go back to Ellis. And he can finish. Good play design by Maryland Eastern Shore. Shulga gives to Furman, and he'll draw the foul. Change of pace, I think, offensively for VCU. They're looking at the mismatch inside, and Furman had 3 touches in back-to-back possessions.
Absolutely, and it's really they're really taking what the defense is giving them. And they're getting deep penetration, which I alluded to earlier. When you have a Sean Bairstow out there who's a threat, shooting last year's shot just under 40%, 39% from three-point line, it's going to open up the lanes. And that goes against what Maryland Eastern Shore wants to do by streaking the floor.
Furman shooting 59% from the line this season. The team is near 80% from the stripe. That's number 1 in the A-10 this season. And that is on a record pace in school history to beat that mark. Here's Bell off the steal, and he brings it home for his first basket.
It's a nightmare as a point guard to have Zeb Jackson in your face all night.
Along with Michael Bell. Hupstead with a nice bounce pass inside to Nzoe that ends an 8-2 run for VCU.
If you see Coach Odom preaching to Christian Furman right there, Christian Furman in the press is the last man of defense. So he cannot be up that high in the paint to give up that bounce pass.
Jackson thought about it. Bell now being harassed by Nzoe and draws the foul. That goes against Deontay Johnson, the sophomore from the Bronx. Team's first foul as we're just underway here in the first half of this next to last game before Christmas. One more game in the calendar year for VCU, which will be against Gardner-Webb on December 30th as Bill Covington asks for time as Michael Bell will retie his shoe.
He tweaked his ankle there on that last play. I'm not sure if he stepped on someone's foot. However, he's being a dog right now, just tying it up tighter. That's what I like to see.
Last thing Coach Odom would want is somebody else getting injured.
Absolutely. Finally get the full roster back.
And Bell off the inbound brings it home again.
Ankle's all right. Don't limp now.
Showing off your hops, and now I'm going to say my ankle is hurting a little bit after the come down. 10-4 start for VCU as we're almost 3.5 minutes gone by. Inside and scoring is Troy Hupstead, the junior from out of Mount Vernon, New York.
Now here's something I see from VCU that they're going to need to fix fast. The help side defense is a step late. Both two possessions out of the 6 points that Maryland Eastern has scored.
Shulga had his shot blocked. Hupstead comes back down court and was wild on the three. Long rebound to VCU. Bairstow looking for his first shot attempt. Goes with a couple of up fakes, fades away over Ellis. Rebound chased down by Davis. Maryland Eastern Shore has led once in this game. Long three in the corner is way off by Nzoe. Bell has it against Davis. Losing control. Furman gets it back. And the rebound to Hupstead.
Good defense. Pulled the chair right there on Michael Bell.
Davis for three. Offensive rebound. Deontay Johnson has it. And now Maryland Eastern Shore will set up. Down by 4. Under 10 to shoot. Hupstead, a straight on three. In and out. Bairstow the rebound.
And VCU is a tad bit lackadaisical on the defensive side.
Bairstow left open. Misfires and out of bounds to Maryland Eastern Shore. And that brings us to our first timeout. 15:57 to go in the first half. And VCU on the Michael Bell jam has a 4-point lead. 15:57 to go in the first half, and VCU leads 10-6 over Maryland Eastern Shore. Sean Robertson, Ed Nixon, our entire Rams Unlimited crew want to wish you and yours a happy holiday season. 3 days before Christmas. I always ask you around December, early December. I know you're done shopping now. We talked earlier today. You're done.
Finished, complete. If I missed you, I'm sorry.
Come talk to me before the new year.
Right. You know, when I miss somebody's gift, I say I'll order it along. It's going to take longer to get there.
They said it's going to come in on the 29th.
Yeah, on the 29th. You'll get it. Just be patient. I tell my daughter the name of the game is patience.
Yes.
Shout out to Kinsley.
And VCU was quite patient when they got Bairstow and Joe Bamisil back in the lineup after dealing with NCAA issues as well as injury concerns. Bamisil and Bairstow on the floor right now with Lawal, Nelson, and Shulga. A turnover by Maryland Eastern Shore. Nelson, Shulga, Bairstow.
Good patience.
Inside to Bamisil. 4 of the 5 players touch the ball on that set, and they lead by 6.
And that's one thing you have to be careful about with Bamisil. He's a scorer, not just I can score with the ball in my hands, but he will move without the ball and find the creases in the defense to score.
VCU has assisted on 58% of field goals made. It's the highest since the Final Four run that Ed Nixon was a part of. Nice scoop to the hoop inside by Damani Claxton, the sophomore from the Bronx.
We have one of the best point guards in the world, Joey Rodriguez, who's now doing his thing down in Florida International University. They just got a win yesterday. Shout out to them, too.
Another pretty good point guard is on the bench right now. Darius Theus was on that team. Here's Shulga creating contact. Ball taken away by Maryland Eastern Shore.
And Maryland Eastern Shore, their record doesn't really show how good they are defensively. And neither does their ranking, because they always end up losing. However, they have very active hands, and their coach preaches tenacity.
Tyler Mack is in the game and misfires on the three. Lawal with a rebound. Bamasil in the corner for three. Ring it up. 5 quick points off the bench for Joe Bamasil. And just like that, it's a 7-point VCU lead.
Now, Maryland Eastern Shore have to be careful of their shot selection. When they take bad shots, it leads to VCU's transition offense.
And they cannot afford scoring droughts, especially with this offense with Bairstow and Bamasil back on the roster. Chase Davis with 2 to shoot. Nelson the board. Rams up by 7. Bairstow finds Nelson. Shulga has it with almost 10 to shoot. Coach Odom running the offense, running the play. The double comes by Maryland Eastern Shore. Bamasil steps back. Misfires on the three and out of bounds to the Hawks. As now Zeb Jackson and Kwani comes in. Bairstow and Shulga will take a seat. Victor Naboya sees his first action for Maryland Eastern Shore.
And that was somewhat of a heat check for Joe Bamasil right there.
He thought he could get 8 straight.
Yeah. He hasn't played all season, or, this is his second game back, so I understand it.
Scored 11 points in 18 minutes against Temple last Saturday in his season debut. Israel Yao, number 20, over Kwani.
And you see, that is just not a good shot.
Shows that length by VCU as well. Here's Nelson. Pass to Bamasil, who hits another 3. 8 off the bench for Bamasil, and it's a 10-point Rams lead.
Absolutely.
How about that pass by Nelson?
Score. Great look by Jay Nelson right there.
6-0 VCU run. Here's Claxton to the rim. Kwani the board. Nelson looking to run in transition. Nelson right to the rim. Foul the wall. Here's Bamasil shooting for 3. Kwani back tapped it and kept it alive. Here's Nelson again, goes baseline. Another great pass. Kwani for 3. Rebound to Maryland Eastern Shore, and Naboya had it.
Again, great baseline drive. And if you know anything about basketball, you have to have a release, and that corner is going to be wide open all the time for VCU.
That was the second straight possession that Nelson did that pass off baseline and gave his shooter a great look in the corner. Elijah Wilson attacking the rim. Nelson the board. Jackson in transition for 3. Wilson the board for Maryland Eastern Shore. Down 10. Coming up on 11 minutes to go in the first half.
Now let's see if Maryland Eastern Shore can get a good look at the basket.
The Hawks are 0 of 5 from 3 in this first half. Tyler Mack tried to shoot from distance. Goes over the backboard and out of bounds to VCU, and that brings us to another timeout with 11:02 to go in the first half. VCU at home leads by 10. You're watching Rams basketball on Masson and on ESPN+. We got the Peppers in their festive gear here at the Siegel Center, as here watching the Rams up 10 over Maryland Eastern Shore. Sean Robertson, Ed Nixon. courtside with the A-team with officials today. Happy holidays, Roger. He understands it's a big game when Ed Nixon is here courtside calling this broadcast. Got 3 great officials: Roger Ayers, Les Jones, Bill Covington Jr.
I remember being reffed by all 3.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm kind of tight. They didn't give me all the calls I needed though. You know, but I guess I could let bygones be bygones.
But they explained to you why they called it against you at points. Here's Fat Billups going to the rim, checking in. Volleyball around Nazozi. Picks it up for Maryland Eastern Shore. And Tyler Mack, he check and drains the triple. Shooting 35% from behind the arc this season. The Hawks are within 7.
That's one of the guys you don't want to give a rhythm shot to. And he stepped in with confidence.
Their first 3 of the game. Jackson finds Furman all alone and scores off the window. 8 in the first half, matching Bamasil for the team high.
Great look right there by Zeb Jackson. Being patient, pulling the big out, finding the mismatch.
6 assists on 8 made baskets by VCU so far.
Amazing.
Claxton has it with under 10 to shoot against Nelson.
And this defense looks stout.
Stripped away by Kwani. And we got a foul. Bill Covington blew the whistle. It will go against Tyler Mack, his first.
He might need a new whistle. I barely heard that.
I did too. Hupstead comes back in for Maryland Eastern Shore. But you mentioned the great defense on that last possession by VCU. And that length, it continues to show defensively against the Hawks right now.
Absolutely. You know, what it allows VCU to do is a little bit of 2 things at once. I can still contest the shot, but I also can give you space to contain you when you're a quicker guard. It's really making it tough for all offices that they are facing. Good
nice
time.
Pass to Kwani underneath. Couldn't get it to fall. Johnson, the board for Maryland Eastern Shore. Again, great unselfish passing by VCU early on. Davis. Coming up on 9 minutes to go in the first half. Hupstead with just 2 points scored. Here is Ellis. And Kwani the rebound.
Great recovery right there to contest by Max, who initially was beat.
Kwani like a freight train down the lane and scores.
And it's really good to see him get his swagger back and get things going. Really struggled. We talked about how he was over 18 before he even had a basket or a 3-point made. And now that he's starting to make some, it's starting to open up the rest of his game. It's good to see.
That Alcorn State game really brought his confidence up to another level. Had 15 in that game against the Braves. Hupstead got fouled by Furman.
And Maryland Eastern Shore, I believe that was his first touch on the post.
I think you're right.
And if they want to be successful, they're going to have to start doing a little bit of inside out. Get the ball down to Hupstead, let him go to work. So maybe the defense can collapse a little bit and then kick out to your shooters.
Coach Jason Crafton told us earlier today that Hupstead was his only player that was the outside-inside threat. He's shown that so far as he just hit the first free throw. He's the team's leading scorer. He's in the top 11 in the MEAC in scoring and is the leading rebounder in the MEAC this season, averaging just over 8 a night.
How about Coach Crafton comparing him to Dennis Rodman?
Yeah. Yep. Blue-collar guy. He said that old-school flavor. Yep. Yeah, my eyebrows raised a little bit when he mentioned that, but, I mean, he's got almost the same body type, not overly, not tall, not overly developed, but he's like almost like that junkyard dog type guy.
Every team needs one.
Yep. VCU up by 9 as we're inside 8.5 minutes. And I think they're going to get Chase Davis reaching in on Bairstow. That is the Hawks' 3rd team foul. The Hawks 1 for their last 8 from the field so far. Shulga was looking to shoot. Ten to shoot for VCU. Jackson one-on-one against Davis. Shulga has to hoist one up and drains it. Just like
Shulga.
they do it up.
Shulga, Max Shulga.
That's his first field goal of the night. And the lead is at 12. Davis falling away. And it's rebounded by Maryland Eastern Shore. Ellis inside, gets his own miss and draws a foul.
That was just so unnecessary to shoot the fadeaway. Go straight up and down, make the shot stick your landing.
Timeout on the floor, 7:34 to go in the first half, and VCU leading by 12.
Untraditional.
25-13, VCU with a 12-point lead over Maryland Eastern Shore. Sean Robertson, Ed Nixon, a member of the 2011 Final Four team. VCU so far shooting 50% from the field, 10 of 20. They've assisted on 7 of those 10 made field goals.
Well, they're just doing a really good job of being unselfish. And not overly unselfish, they're getting to their spots and just moving the ball and taking what the defense gives them.
Maryland Eastern Shore coming in winless on the road this season, 0-6. But they have faced some heavy hitters this season away from home. Stumbled in their last game against Marist, lost by 24 at Marist, and they're in a scoring drought of over 3 minutes, and Devon Ellis will look to break that scoring drought at the line, still looking for a free throw made.
And we talked to Coach Crafton, and the biggest thing is consistency.
He said that a lot.
Yes.
He said that a lot. Missed both, and Bamasil back in, grabs the board.
And that comes with time and experience.
Well, he mentioned on his current roster, Chase Davis is the only player on the team that's been there more than a year. A lot of turnover, a lot of change. Bairstow still can't find the basket. Hupstead the rebound. Bairstow 0 for 3 so far in the game. Deontay Johnson inside amongst the trees and last touch by VCU.
And everybody's going to have to be patient. Coaching staff, players, fans, everybody's going to have to be patient with Sean. For the simple fact, it's very different between him and Bamasil. Bamasil was perfectly in perfect health. He got to shoot the ball. They're
going to get a basket interference, a goaltend on VCU on that inbounds play by Ellis. I think that was Bairstow that touched it, grazed it as it was coming off the rim.
I think that was Max, but that's the Euro basketball. If it's on the rim of Euro basketball, you can knock it off.
Absolutely, that would not be a goaltend. Bairstow finds Bamasil for 3. Billups the offensive rebound. Had a shot blocked from behind. Crowd wanted a whistle, didn't get it. Maryland Eastern Shore down 10. That's a great point you made about that in international play. That would have been just
clean.
a live ball. Everything good. Pass knocked out by VCU. It'll stay with Maryland Eastern Shore with 14 to shoot. Lawal and Bell come in to replace Furman and Fats Billups.
Well, as I was saying earlier, Bamasil has been able to play, at least practice and get shots up. Sean was off his feet for months trying to do rehab. This is basically his first real live action in a long time. So,
yeah, Bamasil actually played in the exhibition back in October against Mars Hill, so he was actually able to play with his guys, and Bairstow was actually recuperating at that point. Here's Shulga. Bairstow hesitates, shoots for 3. And the rebound to Maryland Eastern Shore.
and he's trying to find his footing, but he can't do what he just did. Step into your shot. You know you can shoot it. I know you're missing right now, but that's the shot that's wide open. You can't pass those up.
Yeah, his last year at Utah State, he was shot nearly 39% from 3. Bama steal the steal. Ball was kicked, no whistle. Deontay Johnson with the loose ball. Draws contact on Bamasil. I thought for a minute there that ball was kicked.
Let's see the replay. Oh, that was hand.
That's a good no call by the officials there. Great job by our crew getting that replay up. No, that's a great play by Maryland Eastern Shore. I thought first glance it went off a leg or a calf or a foot, but nope.
All palm. You know who was really good at kickball and getting away with it?
Who's that?
Deontay Weber. He was such a long his arms were so long that when he went for steals, he did with his hand and his foot.
Yeah. He epitomized what Havoc defense was like here in the mid-2010s. I remember the game against Butler, and Brad Stevens spoke to the media after the game, and they said Deontay Weber is like one of those typists that will go 90 words a minute on a typewriter. That's how fast he goes on defense. Shulga. Great feed by Jason Nelson, and Shulga now with 5.
And you're absolutely right about Deontay Weber. Like, watching him play, he covered up a lot of mistakes that VCU would make because he would get steals like that.
No question.
And he would have, and just everybody knows this, but I'll say it so people on air can hear me say it. He would have dominated and crushed the steals record if he doesn't tear his ACL.
Bamasil gets his own miss and is in double figures now with 10. I think he was a 2-time A-10 Defensive Player of the Year as Coach Crawford burns a timeout. He was on pace to be a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year in the A-10 before he tore his ACL. 30-second timeout called by Coach Crafton and Maryland Eastern Shore as VCU increases their lead to 13 over the Hawks here at home.
And I like this timeout by Coach Crafton. He's trying to set something up offensively, draw a play so they can get a good shot and not lead to a turnover where VCU can really open this game up.
He was fearful of the transitional defense that Maryland Eastern Shore at times lacked. He said at points that we are very good, and at times we don't look very good in transitional defense. And when you get an offense with added weapons that like to beat you on the run, it can result in a disaster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to come together, and you have to find that consistency. Just like Coach said, you can't be sometimey.
Damani Claxton back in after the timeout for Maryland Eastern Shore, along with Israel Yao, Naboya, and Tyler Mack, who scored 6 in the loss against Marist earlier this week. Lawal, Bairstow, Nelson, Shulga, and Bamasil, who is leading all scorers with 10, are on the floor for VCU as we're under 5 to go in the first half. Max saw Bamasil on defense. Shot clock is at 5 for Claxton and Maryland Eastern Shore. Shot clock's at 1. Just get it off. Grazed the front part of the rim. And Bamasil chases down the board.
And great defense by VCU. Whenever you, as a defense.
Nice look, and Lawal will be rewarded with 2 free throws.
Whenever you have a defense and 5 seconds left on the clock, the team's point guard has the ball out by the logo, I think you did your job.
And Toby Lawal at the free throw line. This year, solid free throw shooter. Right around 60% on the year. And the jinx happened. Kwani comes back in to replace Bairstow. I wonder, do you say anything to him right now? I mean, he's 0 for 4. He's still looking for his first shot, as you mentioned. It's really hasn't seen a lot of action this offseason as he recovers from that foot surgery. as the Wall made one a free throw. Do you say anything to him right now, or do you just kind of let him watch the game from the bench?
Only if you feel like his demeanor is changing. And all you want to do is just re-illustrate your confidence that you have in him and to tell him be patient. Everything's going to come back to you. It's going to take time.
Wilson with a two-man game to Naboya for the finish. Victory Naboya, the sophomore from Temple Hills, Maryland, with his first basket. Did not score in the loss to Marist earlier this week. He's pulled the Hawks to within 12. Nelson felt the double team. Shulga trying to create and does.
Thought he got fouled right there too.
He's got 7 so far on 3 of 4 shooting from the field. 14-point VCU lead. It's their largest of the first half. Johnson guarded by Nelson. Under 3.5 to go.
And see, their offense is too perimeter orientated right now. They're 5 feet away from the three-point line.
Shot clock winding down. It's at 1. Naboya doesn't see it, and Mack doesn't get it off in time. Shot clock violation brings us to a timeout with 3:11 to go in the first half. VCU up 14. You're watching Rams basketball on Masson and on ESPN+. There's a good look at Jason Crafton, the head coach of Maryland Eastern Shore in his 4th season with the Hawks. Coming off an 18-win campaign last season. It was their first winning year since 2014 and 15. And it was their first winning conference record when they've had 9 victories. That was their first winning conference record since 2016-17.
And the issue there was that, you know, they had experience. They had 4 seniors starting. Those seniors are gone now.
3 were grad transfers.
And they have to rebuild.
He told us today 8 new players are on this year's squad. Here's Nelson. Got tripped up on his way to the hoop. Deontay Johnson with his 2nd foul. 5 team fouls on Maryland Eastern Shore. No shooting situation for VCU as Fats Billups will come in and replace Bamasil.
Nelson's going to feel that in the morning.
And Claxton comes back in for the Hawks to replace Johnson, who will sit with 2 fouls. VCU will get themselves a small break, an 8-day break for Christmas when they return to action December 30th against Gardner-Webb, last non-conference game of the year. Here's Kwani against Mack. Kwani steps and hits.
And look at the confidence he's playing with now. Development, patience. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Kwani with his 2nd made field goal of the half. A 16-point VCU lead. Defense extended out against Elijah Wilson. Upstairs pass goes inside to Yao and scores. Israel Yao gets his first field goal to pull the Hawks to within 14 as we're coming up on 2 minutes to go in the first half.
And that was a very good finish right there. I thought Toby Wall was going to come away with that block.
Nelson steps in for 3. Rebound the Maryland Eastern Shore. Nelson's first attempt from the field on that last shot. The transfer from Richmond.
And I think that, you know, when you run the offense and you got guys like Joe Bamasil really getting off and the lane is opening, you're passing the ball to your bigs down low. Sometimes, you know, you have to go looking for your shot, and that's what that was just then.
Shot clock's under 5. Here's Wilson with 1 to shoot and another shot clock violation.
Great defense.
2nd shot clock violation in the half for VCU defensively. And Crafton was hollering at his point guard to say recognition.
Absolutely.
Recognition.
When it comes down to it, the point guard is an extension of the head coach.
Kwani steps into a 3 and nails it. You mentioned the confidence. It is there and overflowing right now for Kwani.
And the one thing I like about Kwani is if you're a smaller guard trying to guard him, he doesn't care if you're there. He'll shoot right over the top. Right back at you.
Mack with the three from the corner. His second in this first half as VCU leads by 14. Nelson trying to create, comes up a little bit short. Maryland Eastern Shore could have held it for the last shot, but Toby Lawal gets the block. Nelson goes behind it back to Billups. Jackson, the lob to Billups, and he's fouled as Elijah Wilson breaks up that alley-oop.
I'm always worrisome of throwing alley-oops on breaks. It can be very dangerous, especially if the defender doesn't really buy into one side, or if he doesn't commit to one offensive player. That could have ended up very bad.
Fast Billups is at the free throw line for VCU. On the season, shooting 80%. Remember last year, he only played in about 8 games due to a broken thumb and missed the rest of the year. Got a red shirt, so he's got his 4 full seasons of eligibility for VCU.
That was your second jinx.
I'm a hush about stats the rest of that game. Nelson just took it away from him. Gets it off in time, and the first half will end with that great steal by Jason Nelson as VCU has a 14-point lead over Maryland Eastern Shore.
That was a theft right there. Grand Theft Auto.
Call 911. I just took it away from you. Back with some halftime stats as VCU leads by 14 at the break. Roger Ayers giving us the head nod as the second half is about to begin here from the Siegel Center. Sean Robertson, Ed Nixon, our entire Rams Unlimited crew. Want to wish our crew here, wish Ed and you watching on Masson and also on ESPN Plus a happy holiday season. And we will be back a week from tomorrow. Next Saturday, VCU will wrap up non-conference play at home against Gardner-Webb. That will be their 6th of an 8-game homestand, as they will open up conference play home against St. Bonaventure and Davidson.
Which I'm really looking forward to the St. Bonaventure game, because St. Bonaventure always brings their best stuff playing VCU, and VCU is going to be at full health, full strength.
Starting 5 for both teams on the floor as Hupstead couldn't get it over Furman, and the rebound to Bell.
Well, I do like that they went to Hupstead initially. That's the guy they need to get going.
And they went in the post. He did not settle on the outside shot. Bell lost his footing. And here comes Maryland Eastern Shore in transition. Mack for 3 and hits for the Hawks.
And that's
his
what
third.
He does.
He's got 9 to lead the way for Maryland Eastern Shore, and they're within 11.
And I'll tell you what, if VCU thinks that they're going to lay down, they got another thing coming.
You mentioned Zeb Jackson only took 1 shot in the first half as Bairstow gets into the scoring column plus the foul.
First bucket in a VCU jersey.
Similar to what Bamisil did in his game against Temple. His first shot was in the paint. Same thing with Bairstow.
And I think that's the one thing that Bairstow does very, very well, and probably the best on the team, is getting into the paint in that mid-range, rising up above defenders and knocking it down.
3-point play popped out. He is a third-team preseason A-10 selection. That's high praise for a guy that didn't even play in the conference last season. He played at Utah State in the Mountain West, where he was an honorable mention selection.
Well, you know, game, recognize game.
That's true. That's true. Shot clock is under 10 for Maryland Eastern Shore. Here's Davis against Bairstow, and the rebound to Jackson.
And I'm not really sure if VCU is playing completely great defense or if Maryland Eastern Shore is just making the offense extra hard for themselves.
Could be a combination of both. They're near the bottom in the MEAC in field goal percentage at 38% collectively.
And from what I've seen from film I watched and the snippet I'm getting in this game, they find themselves waiting too long to attack. So it gets to late shot selections where they're off balance. They're throwing stuff up at the rim. And when you play a team that's solid defensively, it's just not going to work.
Zeb Jackson at the line, team's second leading scorer this season as he made 1 of 2. It's a 14-point VCU lead. 90 seconds into the second half.
How about Zeb Jackson's custom shoes?
Nice. Here's Mack inside, partially blocked by Furman. Johnson gets it around the horn to Davis for 3. Hupstead, the offensive rebound, put it back by Furman. One of the nation's leaders in blocks per game this year. Furman was calling for it and has it against Hupstead. Furman falling away. Hupstead the rebound. MEAC's leading rebounder this season. Here's Ellis. Goes baseline.
Great ball movement. Now the defense resets.
Shot clock is at 10. Hupstead has it with 5 to shoot. Here's Mack, off balance 3, and another opportunity for Maryland Eastern Shore.
But again, did you see how he had to hoist that shot up? Get into your offense faster so you can get easier shots instead of passing it around the perimeter, not making any attack towards the basket.
Here's Johnson to the rim, and Furman with another block. Saved by Jackson. Jackson in the open floor and bringing it home.
Supreme balance and athleticism on display.
Jackson's first male field goal tonight has given VCU a 16-point lead. Maryland Eastern Shore in a scoring drought of nearly 3 minutes, and a good defensive play by Bairstow to force a reset. As we take a look at that last play, sets up by Furman.
Look at that.
Gets into the open floor, and flight number 2 is open for takeoff.
And you see the separation he made with his speed there.
16-point lead, and Zeb Jackson has 3 points. Team's second leading scorer. Elijah Wilson comes into the game and knocks down the triple for Maryland Eastern Shore.
And that was smooth. Smooth step back.
Only his 6th made three-pointer of the season. He was shooting 19% from distance before tonight.
Well, but that shot selection, it kind of makes you wonder, maybe he's just been off. Maybe he has a little quantity in his blood.
Here's Nelson back in. Lawal inside. Bairstow the offensive rebound, and we got a foul. That will go against Elijah Wilson, his second. And that brings us to a timeout. 15:53 to go. VCU up by 13 on Masson and on ESPN+. A good look at the VCU huddle as they lead by 13 over Maryland Eastern Shore. And we look at this now, VCU roster intact with the addition of Bairstow in the lineup tonight. First game. Bamisola's got now 2 games under his belt, game and a half, you could say. What are you liking about this now VCU group?
Well, what I like is the fact that it's still unselfish. Nobody's let me show them what I can do. Let me do some hero ball. It's still a very unselfish team that passes the ball and looks for the best shot. And also, their length is just out of this world, pause.
We saw Temple run a lot of zone in their game last week against VCU defensively. How scary would a zone look defensively as VCU ran it?
Something like Syracuse. I remember in high school, we played Joey Rodriguez's team in the state championship. And Joy was the shortest person on the team. He's 5'10". And then you had 6'6", 6'6", 6'8", 6'8". And they put a 1-3-1 on us. And they must have beat us by 40 points. So I think it could work.
Perhaps, right? Good defensive play by Chase Davis, but Shulga picked it up. Kwani left open for three. Bairstow kept that alive for Lawal, but it was taken away by Hubstead. And now we got a foul, and they're going to get Kwani with it. And Les Jones gave Kwani that look like, you know what you did. You know what you did. And later in the game, when there's a moment, Les Jones will talk to Kwani and tell him exactly what he did.
Absolutely. This is a veteran official staff. Or
Ayers
crew, I should say.
Ayers has officiated several Final Fours. So has Les Jones. And Bill Covington has officiated several ACC championship games. Almost stolen or thrown away by Maryland Eastern Shore. Zoe inside and found Hubstead for the deuce. Only his 6th point tonight and his second made field goal of the evening.
And that was great execution on the offensive end by Maryland Eastern Shore.
They're going to get Hubstead for reaching in. That'll be his second.
But great execution by just driving, being patient. And they weren't just having it around the perimeter, 5 feet away from the three-point line. They were actually trying to attack and get an advantage, which creates defense to be a step slower, and you get something like that.
VCU holding Maryland Eastern Shore to 27% shooting in the second half. Bamisil catch and shoot. Scary proposition for VCU, and Bamisil gets going. He's got 13 so far. And Claxton draws the foul on Kwani and leaned into it to get that foul in his favor.
Absolutely. And Kwani in that situation doesn't have to jump. He's 6'8". Just stand your ground, take away the space when he pivots, and you have him trapped dead in the coffin corner.
That time Kwani smiled and said, yeah, that was on me. Ellis was cut off by Kwani. Good defense by Kwani, and it forces an air ball. Shulga in transition to Nelson. Bumped by Claxton. Nelson going all the way around to Kwani. Blocked by Ellis. Furman gets it back and draws a foul.
And what Jason Nelson did right there, I truly love to see point guards do that. Keeping their dribble, probe, until they can find the open man, until the defense reacts, and it led to Kwani making an aggressive attack, which led to, the offensive rebound. But that was all started with Jason Nelson's patience and probing the defense.
Furman at the line. He made VCU's first 6 points in the game. Well short on that first attempt. Yao back in for Maryland Eastern Shore.
And VCU uncharacteristically is struggling from the free throw line, shooting at 54.5% at this moment.
Furman splits a pair. They came in shooting 79% from the line. That was tops in the A-10 this season. And they lead by 17 against Maryland Eastern Shore, who has made 2 of their last 10 from the field. Here's Wilson with the fadeaway. Loose ball got by Maryland Eastern Shore.
And they're doing a really good job of crashing the glass. We spoke about game rebounding. I was more so alluding to the defensive rebounding, but they're doing it on the offensive end.
Here is Nazoe to Claxton, who missed on the 3, and Yaw gets the offensive rebound and put back. Yao with his 4th point. Lead is at 15 for VCU as we're coming up on 13 minutes left in the game. And we get Elijah Wilson for reaching in. Last foul to give for Maryland Eastern Shore as Zeb Jackson will come in to replace Shulga.
Max Shulga does such a good job. Whenever the defender sticks their hand in the cookie jar, he is going to draw the foul.
Jackson will inbound. Almost a 5-second count, and they found Furman. Bama still leading all scorers with 13. Missed on the 3, and Yao, the rebound for Maryland Eastern Shore as they're down 15. Hawks were in search of their first road win this season. They were 0-6 before tonight. Stolen by VCU. Wilson got it back though. Bounce pass inside to Yao, and he draws a foul. It's either Furman or Yao, and it's going to be on Furman.
And with as a coach, you would accept that foul. You don't want to give up the 2 points. You thought you had to steal, which it would have been a Showtime at the Apollo for that. But great job by Maryland Short recovering. However, good. That's a good foul.
Maryland Eastern Shore, #1 in the MEAC in free throw shooting this year, as Yao misses the first. He was at 50% from the stripe, was 6 of 12 before tonight. So 2 conference leaders in free throw shooting this year.
Both struggling tonight.
Yeah. Maryland Eastern Shore now 4 of 8 from the stripe. VCU 7 of 12. Rams up by 14. Maryland Eastern Shore showing a little press. Jackson being bumped. Nelson loses it, but Kwani's got his back and scores.
Good look by Jason Nelson, but great snag by Kwani.
He's close to being in double figures for the 3rd straight game. He had 12 against Temple last Saturday off of his 15-point performance against Alcorn State 2 weeks ago. Here's Nazoe. Hits from the outside, a long 2. That's his 4th point.
And that's one of the first shots I've seen from Maryland Eastern Shore, is that they went up, straight up and down, shot the ball, stuck the landing, nothing but net.
VCU up by 14. Kwani draws a blocking foul. And he will be shooting free throws when we come back on this timeout as VCU up by 14. You're watching Rams basketball on Masson and on ESPN+. 50-36 VCU lead over Maryland Eastern Shore. Sean Robertson, Ed Nixon, a member of the 2011 Final Four team, as we're about to watch the Virginia Credit Union assists of the game.
And with that screen and roll up top, the defense is playing a lose-lose situation, where you got the leader scorer driving downhill towards the basket, but if you decide to help, you're leaving open somebody who's red hot from 3 in Joe Bamasil, and as you can see, they chose the latter.
That's dangerous to do that. Dangerous to do that. Roosevelt Wheeler comes in off of that last timeout, as he's going to be in the front court with Kwani and use a 3-guard alignment with Bamasil, Jackson, and Jason Nelson, as Kwani, with 1 free throw on the next possession, possibly would have given him double figures for the 3rd straight game, averaging 13.5 points his last 2 games and shooting 64% from the field, getting out of that slump. Hupstead misses on the 3. Jackson the rebound. Nelson a straight on 3. Rebound saved by Kwani. Looks inside to Wheeler. And we have an out of bounds as Claxton knocked it out last. It'll stay with the Rams.
You gotta love the hustle by both teams. I really wish Wheeler would have caught that ball and just went up monstrous and dunked it. However, I don't think he knew he was that open.
That might have been. Bill Covington and Roger Ayers will talk about it, and they will keep it as is. They reset the shot clock to 19. as VCU will maintain possession. Remember, before Wheeler went to Louisville, he won a couple of state championships in this building. And Bairstow threw it away. The Virginia High School League state championships, the championship finals are held here at the Siegel Center. And when Wheeler was a part of John Marshall, won a state championship with Jason Nelson.
With Jason Nelson.
With the Justices. Ty White is probably at home smiling that we mentioned that. Hupstead gets tripped up and fouled by probably Roosevelt Wheeler. Yep.
And those John Marshall high school teams are the real deal. They are the real deal. Jason Nelson was just an absolute terror out there at the point guard position.
You had Wheeler. You had another ACC standout that's there now, Dennis Parker Jr., last year's team. Jason Rivera is now at Vanderbilt. They send them to Power 5 programs. Wheeler went to Louisville before he came here.
Absolutely.
10.5 on the big clock for Maryland Eastern Shore, down by 14, and they're going to get Fats. Billups with the box out on the perimeter for the foul.
You have to allow the offensive player to land. However, I think the up top on the block, it was clean.
And talking about guys with winning state champions here, he did that a couple years ago, part of Varina's team in this area, went 25-1, won a state championship in this building. And said he wanted a chance to play at home and got a chance to suit up for VCU.
And as this year goes on, I'm very curious to see how Coach Odom manages this rotation with so many guys that can contribute. How do you do that?
Wilson made 1 of 2. Well, the problem was he didn't have enough bodies because at one point he only played 8 guys. Now he's got 10, 11. And like you say, minutes are going to be interesting how they will adjust. Wheeler couldn't finish, gets his own miss inside and draws the foul.
Good catch. I like the aggression, attacking the rim.
Hupstead got called for his 3rd. 18 foul for Maryland Eastern Shore. So Roosevelt Wheeler, we talked about it, transfer from Louisville. Scored a season high. Actually hasn't played a lot this year as far as minutes is concerned. Saw a lot of time in that ESPN Invitational tournament down in Orlando.
Absolutely.
Wheeler splits a pair. He's on the board as VCU's up by 14. Rams just 8 of 15 from the line tonight. Bamisill almost had a steal. Wilson inside, acrobatic shot, and now another foul. Think they're going to get Wheeler again.
And that's a tough call. However, you have to remain straight up and down. Straight up and down. And I never really understood that. If I have somebody's knee barreling into my chest, how do you expect me to be vertical the whole time?
They want that core to be strong, stand vertical, and take it. Better you than me, Ed, because I couldn't have done it. Wilson hits the first as Bamisill will take a seat to be replaced by Shulga. You took a few charges in your day.
I love to take charges.
That was almost like a badge of courage for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, it was if you took a couple of charges, it was like.
Because if you didn't take the charge when you had the opportunity to, you had to go to flight school. You know what flight school is?
I think I saw that a few times during warm-ups in your tournament run. I think I remember seeing them.
Former coach Mike Rose lost a tooth during flight school.
Jackson off on the 3, and Mac the rebound. During the Final Four open practice, y'all did that, and I think, was that when Mike lost his tooth? And he said, I took that as a badge of courage at that point. Deontay Johnson over Zeb Jackson, and goes glass. as he called bank and scored. That's his first made field goal tonight. And don't look now, Maryland Eastern Shore is within 10.
Absolutely.
Another foul drawn by Max, and it will go against Hupstead, the team's leading scorer, who's now in the danger zone with his fourth.
And absolutely, like I said earlier in this game, Maryland Eastern Shore did not come here to lay down. If you want to beat them, you're going to have to beat them. If you start playing lackadaisical and relaxed basketball, they're going to turn it up a notch and they're going to take it to it and make you very uncomfortable in front of your home crowd.
Max Shulga, when I was doing my notes, I looked at this stat and I'm like, this is unreal. In his last 5 games, he's 30 of 31 from the line.
You just can't stop.
I got confidence in Max. I'm going to talk about his numbers, and he's automatic.
He is automatic. I will say that.
97% in the last 5 games from the line.
They are free.
You heard somebody in the back say automatic.
Automaxic.
Automatic. I like that too. And he doesn't even lead the conference. He's in the top 5 in conference this year. He's at 92% before tonight. He's not even leading the conference in that stat. Here's Wilson, tough shot. And the rebound goes to Shulga. Up ahead to Bairstow. Draws contact and finds 2.
Bairstow just knows how to play basketball. Just slowing down the step, getting into the body of the defender, and making an easy layup with the left hand.
Mini 4-0 run for VCU, back up by 14. Here is Mack for 3 and knocks it down, his 4th from downtown. He's in double figures with 12, and it's an 11-point VCU lead.
Now here's what I'll say. Somebody shooting 35%, somebody shooting 35% from 3, maybe you don't always go over the top.
Mack with a heat check.
And see, that's just the kind of stuff you just can't have.
Out of bounds to VCU when we come back. 7:54 left, and VCU has an 11-point lead on Masson and on ESPN+. Glad you could join us for your VCU basketball fix. Rams lead 55-44 over Maryland Eastern Shore in a game that VCU has basically led throughout. And there have been some points in the game where Maryland Eastern Shore has fought back. They have not laid down. They got it to within 10 in the second half, and now it's at 11. There's still a lot of time to work with.
Well, absolutely. What they have to continue to do is take good shots. Mack has been able to get off threes, but the key to this is running your offense and getting great shots. You're not going to get everything back in one play.
Mack has achieved his career high in this game. It was at 9, and he did that earlier this season. Came in averaging just over 4 points a game, and he's got 12 for Maryland Eastern Shore. Bairstow guarded by Naboya. Bairstow pulls up. Lawal an offensive rebound.
It's just so hard to box a guy out that big, that strong, and with that engine.
It's Toby's first offensive rebound of the game. Shot clock's under 10. Here's Nelson. Shulga for 3. Ring it up.
Great patience by Nelson. Getting in there, sitting down, not feeling rushed, find the open man, and of course, Max Shulga for 3.
6 assists for Jason Nelson. 14-point lead again for VCU. Here is Yao against Bairstow. Jackson had it and lost it out of bounds. Damani Claxton back in for the Hawks along with Devon Ellis. And Michael Bell will come in as well for VCU.
I wonder how many times Yao has practiced that shot. You know what I mean?
I see your inner Patrick Ewing coming out of there.
Do you practice that shot? I've never seen you shoot that shot. But Patrick Ewing is a great coach, and he was on to something there. If you don't practice a shot, if you don't do that, don't do it in the game.
Here's Ellis going window, and Lawal flying in to get that rebound. Under 6.5 to go, and VCU with a 14-point lead. Shulga has the mismatch on Claxton. It has a wide open look, gives it up for Bell. Offensive rebound, Lawal. Almost a steal, it is a steal. Ellis doesn't finish.
And that's the second bunny Ellis has missed today.
Here's Bairstow underneath and scores. Bairstow with his 8th point and 7th assist for Jason Nelson.
And you have to give credit to Jason Nelson hustling back to give Ellis something to think about. And it paid off.
16-point VCU lead. Hupstead back in. Just 6 points scored in the game. Here's Mack, good head fake. Hupstead has 3 to shoot. Goes up against Lawal and draws a foul on Toby.
Great up fake by Hupstead. Getting Toby off his feet just slightly. Get him off balance, then get into his body to get to the free throw line.
Hupstead, the transfer from Panola College. Still trying to get himself into double figures. He has 6 so far tonight. He scored in double figures 31 times in his career. But he's hit a little bit of a slump right now. He scored less than 10 in 2 of his last 3.
Well, he's been going against some really big bodies. He's kind of an undersized big man.
First one is good. Furman in for Toby Lawal. Lawal's got 1 point but 7 rebounds, 2 steals and a block tonight.
You can't replace that effort. You cannot replace that effort. And sometimes that's all the team is going to need. Toby Lawal's one of those guys that he's going to play the same way every single time out, and that's hard.
Can't teach that will. 1 of 2 for Hupstead. Lead is at 15 for VCU. Coming up on money time here in the second half as Bairstow gets the and one.
And see, when you have a guy like Bairstow, outside of your 2 leading scorers, outside of your 6 man, your 6 man of the year candidate, and you have a guy like Bairstow who can put the ball on the floor, use the screen, get all the way to the cup for and ones and shoot the 3, it's going to really make your offense difficult to handle.
Because who do you take away? That's going to be the key for coaches in the A-10 moving forward. As Bairstow teased all of the rim before going down, as Bamasil will come in. But you look at this roster now, fully loaded. It's like when you do your scouting report, who do you take away? Do you take away Shulga and you got Jackson and Bamasil and Bairstow? Do you take away Bamasil? You got those other guys? It's hard to say I'm going to take one guy away when you got other weapons that Coach Odom will have to his disposal.
You got to pick your poison, but either way, you're going to get sick.
Here's Ellis against Furman with under 10 to shoot. Trying to bully his way over Furman. And the rebound to Bairstow. VCU has out-rebounded the Hawks by 6. Here's Shulga in the lane. Thought about it. Now we'll look to create.
And they're playing a little buddy ball right now.
The old Utah State teammates, right? He was wondering when that was going to happen.
No, I'll take it. Do you take it?
We did this before in the West Coast. Let's bring it east.
And to be honest with you, I think both of them had open shots. And just
They
said,
did,
no,
yeah.
we can get something better.
But you mentioned that earlier, the fact that you see all of these guys and they're showing the unselfishness in this lineup as opposed to, like you said, Shulga could have taken a 3, Bairstow could have taken a 3, but instead they were trying to find a better shot for either themselves or a teammate in that possession.
And then Max does what he does oh so well. He waited for the defender to put their hand in the cookie jar, swipe through. I'll take these 2 free throws.
So if I'm not going to eat, you're not going to eat. 2 more made free throws for Shulga. Last 6 games, 34 from 35 from the line. And the lead is at 20, largest lead of the night for the Rams as we're inside of 4.5 minutes. Bamasil really guarding the Zoe. Here is Athian inside, and the rebound to Bamasil.
Again with these ill-advised shots.
Bamasil to the rim. Furman with the finish.
Clean everything up. Mr. Clean.
Timeout by Coach Crafton in Maryland Eastern Shore. It'll be a full timeout, but back to that last play as Christian Furman is now in double figures with 11, and it's a 22-point VCU lead. Sean Robertson, Ed Nixon, a member of the 2011 Final Four team here at the Siegel Center. VCU in the midst of a 12-1 run over the last 3.5 minutes to go up 22, their largest lead of the game. And they're doing it with all sorts of resources for Coach Odom.
Absolutely. They're doing a really good job of spreading the wealth. If you look here in the box score, you have Kwani with 9 points, Joe Bamasaw with 13, Max Shulga with 14, Sean Bairstow in his first game back with 11, and Christian Furman with 11 points. Now, who did I mention? Zeb Jackson. He's averaging 15 points on the season. However, this is where the unselfishness is really going to have to show up for these guys, because sometimes it's not going to be your night to shine, and other guys are going to have the ball. So this is going to be a beautiful thing to see, but they're going to have to be completely unselfish.
Here's Bamasil to Kwani, goes baseline, tough layup inside for 2. He bullied his way in, and now he's in double figures with 11.
And Kwani just has this aggressiveness to him tonight. And if he can carry that over to the rest of the season, look out A-10.
That's the 5th Ram in double figures tonight. Athian for 3, and Shulga the rebound, his 5th.
I'll tell you what, Athian got in this game, and he said it is time to get him up. He doesn't see a shot he doesn't like.
Transfer from Clyde County. Kwani sizes up Athian, and he goes baseline.
Oh, my.
He put Hupstead in a poster as Hupstead is fouled out.
He has me over here sounding like Johnny Gill.
Hupstead just fouled out as Kwani will shoot free throws when we come back as VCU is up 24. Back here at the Siegel Center for the final 2:33 of regulation. VCU well on their way for their 3rd win in a row as they're up 24 on Maryland Eastern Shore. And the nice problem that Coach Ryan Odom will have for the next week is kind of figure out how to divide the minutes and actually set up a rotation, because he can now go with 2 starting 5s if need be, with Bairstow and now Bamasil in the fold for this season.
Absolutely. And if you look at this lineup, like, everybody is starting to find their rhythm at the same time, headed towards conference play.
Kwani with a surprising miss from the line. He had only missed 1 all year. He was shooting 90% from the line, split a pair. He's got 12. The lead is at 25, and the run is now 15-1 over the last 4.5+ minutes as Kwani will take a seat to be replaced by Michael Bell.
And the issue is Maryland Eastern Shore continues to shoot these bad shots.
Another steal by the Rams.
Along with stuff like that.
Fats Billups for 3. Johnson the rebound. 7 steals for VCU tonight, and they have forced only 10 turnovers. Maryland Eastern Shore actually has done a good job of taking care of the ball. Here's Johnson. Nice pass inside to Naboya, who finishes. His 4th point of the night. 23-point lead with under 2 minutes to go.
And see, when we talked to Coach Crafton, he talked about consistency. And that right there was indicative of it. If they can run offense like that every single time down the floor, then maybe they don't get beat by 20-plus points.
Nelson hits his first field goal.
But when you come down and you take fadeaways off one-legged shots, 3 possessions in a row, and then do one good possession, eventually it's not going to work in your favor.
Jason Nelson, 3 points on the night with 7 assists. As VCU's up by 26. Faz Billups almost had another steal. Shot clock is under 10. Johnson, look at Nelson getting on the floor and saving it to Billups, and who lays it in?
Great hustle by Jason Nelson right there. Really leaving it all on the floor.
Flight school, you just saw it right there. You just saw it right there.
Wear your parachute.
That's a great play. With under a minute to go, and you're still diving on the floor, getting a loose ball for your teammate. And they're going to get an offense. Oh, they're not going to get an offensive foul. I thought they were going to get Elijah Johnson, or Wilson rather, for flailing those elbows. And Shulga gets called for the foul. But on that last play, again, Nelson finding Billups with the hustle, getting on the floor.
And that's something you can't teach either. Well, actually, you can teach that. But that is a hard lesson to learn. So a lot of people, all these guys were the man in high school. Every single last one of them. But to show that type of effort means a lot. And that's why Jason Nelson is going to find himself getting more minutes and more minutes and more minutes, because he has the right attitude.
I mean, you look at that roster for VCU, you got several state players of the year. 2 in this state. Faz Billups was a player of the year. Jason Nelson was a player of the year in the state of Virginia. Here's Naboya. No. Loose ball. And Furman is going to be called for goaltend. That's that old Patrick Ewing intimidation factor. Yeah, I give up the 2, but maybe you'll think twice about going inside against me.
Absolutely. It's a mind game. If I was a shot blocker, I would definitely do that.
Remember, was it the Final Four in '82? He blocked like 3 or 4 shots, got goaltended, or had goaltending calls 3 or 4 times. But it set a purpose. It set a tone for the rest of the game.
Right.
Inside 20 seconds for VCU as they're up big over Maryland Eastern Shore. Here's Bell. Tough pass and picked up by Maryland Eastern Shore. Up ahead is Athian, who brings it home. And that will wrap it up here as VCU gets their 3rd win in a row as they knock off Maryland Eastern Shore. 75-49 the final. VCU improves to 7-5 on the year. Actually, 75-51 the final. Maryland Eastern Shore falls to 2-8 and are winless on the road at 0-7. We'll come back and wrap it up here from the Siegel Center after this on Masson and on ESPN+.